And it is week 30 according to Project Life, and we are going to do a flip through of probably 8 weeks or so of my family album. So let's get started. This is week 30 and I have used all sorts of products. I did not do this page for any design team, so I was able to just go through my stash and find all kinds of stuff that was old and just fun to use and easy to match up to my photos. So just a couple of things to point out is that I think this is my very first layout that I used both a white background and cream background together, which was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I did that. But honestly, it turned out fine. I actually think it looks really good. And I know some people get a little weird about that, but I think as long as you're kind of spreading the two different colors out, I think that it really works because I've got some cream, but then I've got white. So it's kind of, evens it out, spreads it out. I don't think it's that bad. But anyway, these kinds of pages for me are really fun because it allows me an endless amount of product I can use, which, always just helps with stifling creativity sometimes. But this is July, so let's move to the next page. This is 2 different layouts, so they are not meant to necessarily go together. So this was done for a Gossamer Blue project and was super fun. I loved being able to use just the colors from here, the red and blue, and was super fun to throw a little purple in just because it was kind of a light blue and it worked really well with the colors in his shirt, and just really had a lot of fun with this simple layout. And then here is a layout that I did with a large photo. Now, normally I would not suggest cutting through somebody's face, but I do that and I'm okay with it. It's not the only photo that exists like this. It's digital. I can always reprint it if I cut it and I don't like it, but I really wanted just a larger photo, and I don't have any of the page protectors that have the 1 6x8. So at a far away distance or even up close, it's still his face. And so I would really only suggest cutting through someone's face if you're okay with that. Otherwise, large photos typically cut up are best if they're a landscape, or a scenery photo, or just a photograph of anything but a person's face. But you'll see in here that I've done this a couple of times, and it's only because it's my album. I get to do whatever I want. But this one, I finally was able to use some products from the Cool Kid collection from Crate Paper. I got it during the summer and was really excited to use it on some photos of my little guy. So this is while he was still 8, and I did a couple of listing things about what he liked at this time, which is always really fun to do if you have young kids or even old kids. I have a feeling I'm still going to be making lists about the things my kids like, even when I'm scrapbooking, when I'm like 50 and they're in their 20s or something. I have a feeling, wait, is that how it's going to work out? If I'm in my 50, oh, wow, no, that's not the right math. Anyway, when I'm older and they're older, I have a feeling I'm still going to do that. So that'll be kind of fun looking back on. So week 31 is a lot of busyness. It's, there was so many different colors in my photos that I really just was like, well, then I'm just gonna use all the colors. And so I did, and it was really fun. And this was a Gossamer Blue design team project. So everything that you see is going to be from a Gossamer Blue kit of some sort. So, but what I tend to do with this much busyness in my layouts is I just try to keep things as simple as I can. So like, for example, here, it's a really simple card. It just says smile with the little ink splatter. And all I did was put a 2x2 with a little piece of washi. Made it really simple, but still has an impact, still flows with the other things. And, you know, kind of has the rule of 3. So 3 embellishments for me is kind of the maximum. So I consider this to be an embellishment, this to be an embellishment, and then also just the photo itself gives the triangle effect. So just little things to keep in mind when you've got a lot of busyness. Here are some ways to keep it simple. So another thing that I've done, like this photo kind of takes up a lot of the frame. Now there's all this negative space here that I could have, you know, put the puppy snuggles here, but for me it was too close to all of this other stuff. So I threw it down here so that it felt a little bit more open in this space and not so cluttered. So little thing to think about there. And then also sometimes it's okay to just add one little element. So here I just did brother. Here I just put a little heart, and here like I didn't even put anything because I felt like it was already kind of overwhelming over there with just how dark the outside of the photo is. So just a couple of little things when you've got some busy photos. There's still a way you can make it all work if you're on a weekly format like this. So that is week 31. Here is week 32. I've also started putting the week dates in random places, so sometimes it takes me a minute to find the week. Another kind of busy, a few colors that I'm having to kind of manage, but it ended up all working out. And this was again another layout that was not for a design team. So I grabbed, this is a super old illustrated faith printable. This is a crate paper Instagram post from August of 2016 that I just screen capped. This is a to-do list from the Reset Girl. She's got these fun little listing post-it notes. Also threw in some Ellie Studio, just kind of whatever fit the colors. Like I knew I needed to be using green because I have this green straw. I knew I needed this teal because of his shirt. Something bright because of the ice cream, like, and then I just made some other things black and white on purpose. So that way I had some neutrals going on, and I think it looks cool. Okay. So this is going to be the same week, and this is a week that I was on vacation. So we're going to see several different pages throughout this just this week. Yeah, so this is August, still that first week that I was on vacation. So it's a little out of order just because of how the formats worked out. Like for this, I needed 2 pages, so I needed to kind of skip around, but that's totally fine. So kept it really simple and easy, used a lot of stuff from Ellie Studio and their, I think the collection was called Summer Days, Sunny Days. I'm totally screwing that up. No, I don't 100% remember, but that's okay. So, little die cuts and cards. This is, I believe, a card, but then this one is either a 6x6 or 12x12 cut up into 3x4. And then like this little stripey with an and, because I really thought that the ampersand went well with the beach color. And then this is actually from In a Creative Bubble, and she had a summer set that I picked up. And then also this is an older die cut from some summer collection from a year or 2 ago. So that I kept very simple with not a lot of embellishments because the photos, I really wanted to make sure that they stood out. Oh, this today one is also from In a Creative Bubble. And here is just a continuation of our beach day, which has a little bit more color, a little bit more of embellishment, and then this. So this is another example of cutting through people's faces. So I tried to get it to where it was just my hat and his neck and not necessarily like his face and my face. So it sometimes will work out and sometimes it's just not gonna work out. So you get to decide, you know, if it's worth it for you to chop up a photo, or, you know, maybe you choose a different configuration where it's not going to cut through a face. You know, you really have a lot of options, but I could have kept it as a whole photo and just threw the photo in without a page protector at all. But unfortunately, I needed the format on the other side, and so I just went for it and made, you know, I made it the best that I could. So, you know, I'm not upset about how it turned out, but it is a little funky sometimes when you're trying to cut through something that looks like it should be connected, and then it just looks like it's kind of got this big gap in between. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work as well, but I still love that photo. So here on the other side was a couple of layouts for that week. So we had a bit of a car tragedy. My son and I were taking our dog up to Tahoe to do a hike and look at this beautiful waterfall. We had been planning this day. He said he wanted to go on his birthday. He didn't want to go on a different day. So we are heading up the hill, but our car broke down, and Matt and Marshall had to come get us. And the car ended up being to the point where we didn't feel like it was worth it to replace it or to repair it. So I just wanted to document this particular event because it was so tragic for us, honestly. It was supposed to be a car that Gibson ended up getting when he got his license, and that's kind of not how things worked out. So quite an adventure. Definitely glad that I documented that, and again, just used some random stuff from my stash, mostly LE Studio, here. Project Life, actually, I think that's from the Kiwi kit. I do still have some stuff from my Cork kits. I don't use them very often, and I keep purging because there's just so many of each card that I end up kind of changing styles and then not feeling like I would use them. So I do have some of Kiwi left because that was one of my favorites, actually. And then this card here is from In a Creative Bubble, again, because I picked up a ton of her stuff around this time, and so really was excited to get to use a lot of her stuff, which is pretty much what I used over on this page here, which is about his actual birthday, and we got to go to dinner with my in-laws, and that was really fun. And actually, yeah, all of the cards here are from In a Creative Bubble. So let's move on. So this is August 6th, so we ended up buying a new car, which was not in the plan. So I journaled a little bit about the reason why we were at this point here, and then I made a little currently list, which I thought was really fun. This currently card comes from Are You Kristen? So she does, she is the creator of the hashtag Thursday3. So she has these. I've had them forever. I just printed a ton. I believe it's a freebie. So I just used a ton of random stuff just so that I kind of decided on a color scheme that mainly was around my black and white stripe shirt, the black and white car, and then like the yellow and blue from this photo. So I knew that I wanted to use yellow, and I knew I wanted to use black and white. So then I just found a couple of things that made me feel like I could do the teal and the pink together with the yellow, and it really ended up being such a fun page to work on. So a couple of things I did is this is a card from Ellie Edwards, and the whole thing just said super excited about this in white, and I just took a pen in a random place and just wrote over one of them in black so that it stood out. So that way I didn't have to really add any other journaling, because that's really the sentiment that I wanted to portray, was that I was super excited about this. And then here is his name, and eventually I would love to get a customized license plate with FN2187 because he really looks like a stormtrooper, and we're Star Wars fanatics, so everybody in my family thought that would be pretty cool if we did that, but we haven't done that yet. Hopefully, crossing my fingers that when I'm ready that it's still available. So that is about it for this page. Here is the beginning of school. So we've got mostly I'm using Ellie Studio Back to School because that kit was so much fun. It had all the right things that I was looking for a themed kit, and had a lot of fun being able to like write a couple of different things journal wise about each kid, and places to list things, because that's really like what kind of going back to school is all about. So, and then I also had Marshall write his name, and once he got his desk number at school, I had him just write his name and his desk number so that I had something like in his handwriting at that time. And then I also like to include receipts for like school clothes shopping and school supply shopping. And then every single time we do back to school, I always take a picture, something different, of the pencils and stuff, because I mean, those are those are like my favorite parts. I think obviously I like the back to school thing much more than they do, but I also captured Gibson's books so that I, could remember what he was studying at that time. And then we kind of I did this overall little summer card with from Ellie Studio. This is also from Ellie Studio, has like the little pie chart, and I just did like kind of all the things that they did over the summer. And then just kind of one more, like an overall page about kind of the friends and stuff. So I really thought that this was such a cute idea for going back to school, because the friends is like the most important thing, right? So I wanted to capture, who they're hanging out with, and luckily the boys still let me take pictures. So this is actually not in sequential order, but it's because I didn't really have another place for it back in my other album. And I kind of worked on this way after the fact. So this is actually from April, but I worked on this, and this was a Gossamer Blue project. So it was just this grid design with a larger title, and then just kind of journaled. And this is a photo that I posted on Instagram, so I used the exact journaling from my post for my journaling on the page, which I do a lot. So if you haven't heard about the app Memento, it's Momento, so Momento. It's an app, and you can have all of your like Instagram feed and Facebook feed right into it. So you have just one place where you can refer back to something that you posted. It has the journaling there, and that's what I use to journal all my stuff, because I work on the page so much longer away from being like in the moment and remembering what I thought about it or felt about it. But I usually post something fairly quickly, so the emotion's fresh or the feeling is fresh, and I will always just refer back to that journaling. So this was a really fun page to work on, something a little different. Here's also something a little different. This was also a Gossamer Blue design team project, but it all the different colors back here is just the page. That's just how the page was. So I then just added to it. I think it did say play, and I added the stamp, and then I added this stamp here and just added the embellishments around so that it just kind of felt like, I don't know, like random and fun. And that's what I got out of it, random and fun. And then here is me documenting what I enjoyed most about the Olympics, which is always gymnastics. I really, I will stay up as late as possible to watch the gymnastics. I don't really follow any of the other events that closely, always gymnastics. So just printed out some screenshots and just worked on a little page. Not a whole lot, but something fun. This is, let me figure out where my week is here. I may not have written it down. Hold on just a sec. Let me also grab this paper so I can block this page off. So whatever week this is August 13th. So, oh, week 33. Hey, you probably were all like, it's right there. So this, again, this was another non-design team layout. So lots of fun, older things like this Amy Tangerine paper. And I don't even know where this came from, but this is a Scraptastic Club, and I was super happy to be able to finally use some of the little illustrations. So picking out all those colors was really super fun, because obviously they're not meant to be together. But so just a little journaling and a lot of photos outside, so I really had to pull a lot of green in. But this was fun. Just yeah, I don't have anything extra special necessarily, but here you may all look. Again, but just let me know if you have questions about anything. If I don't explain something or you have a question about like how I cluster, or how I choose where a stamp goes, I don't know, just let me know. Okay, so this is all one page. Let me see if I can block this off so it's easier for you to see here too. Do I have another paper? I don't have another page. I thought I had another page. Okay, well, anyway, you can get the idea. It's just this. So week 34 was super fun. This was a Gossamer Blue design team project. So lots of fallish colors, but I was able to use them for my summer layout because they really still had a lot of brightness to them. So really worked out well. A lot of clustering. I did a lot of layering here, so which is a little bit different than what I typically do, but felt really natural because I had a lot of smaller pieces that I could just kind of cluster on top. So that was fun. And something that I really like to do is if I have tickets or like a receipt or something, I like to make this little pocket and then just kind of slip something inside so you get an idea of what it is, but it's not, necessarily showing off the whole entire thing, and that's always fun. So week 40 is a 9x12 and a 12x12. So I got to use some primary colors, which was really fun. And then I also did something a little bit different. I got a tiny bit messy. And for me, yes, this is messy. And some of you are going to be like, oh my God, that's messy. But on this card here, I was inspired to like use the stamps from the Gossamer Blue set. And so this is an Ellie Studio card. And I have these little stamps, and so I just stamped them right over the letters, and then I used just a black pen and just made some random dots, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's like, I feel like I'm art journaling. But you girls that use a lot of paint and stuff are probably like, girlfriend, that is nothing. But for me, really messy, and I liked it, and it was fine. So I kind of transferred that over to a couple other places so that it felt like it all went together. And so I just did some more dots over here. I did them here in little clusters, and then over here. So that way it didn't, oh, and here too. I guess I got a little crazy. But so a couple other things is I do like to sometimes write on, that was two different writes in the same sentence. I like to write directly on top of the photo. So just be careful about slipping. Photos are slick. So I use an illustrated faith pen because it dries super fast. And that way, just in case I accidentally get my hand on it or something, it typically is not going to smear. And then just like I made a little list of the things that Marshall's reading, and Matt turned 40 the week before, and this is the photo that I had of him. And just a couple extra things. I really love still using my date stamper. So this is the date and time stamper from Allie Edwards. I really love to use that, not only just for the time, but I loved using it for the dates as well, just because it's really simple. I think maybe we might be done with this page. Pretty good so far. All right, so we've got a full double spread here, which I really had fun with. This color scheme was really fun because it's super girly and lots of flowers. And there's, you know, really no reason why. Just because I have boys doesn't mean I can't use girly colors. So I do. And, you know, it worked out because, like, here in this photo, his shirt is like this, you know, maroon color, which totally blends in with, you know, like a coral, darker pink color. So I totally made that work. It may be a stretch, but I did. So I really had fun using the timestamp that we were just talking about because there was a couple of, like this right here, what happened on the same day. So I was able to just kind of take a photo from each perspective at picking up each kid. And that was really cool to be able to use the timestamp there. I love grabbing images from Pinterest or Instagram, and so I have been waiting a long time to use this I Chill Harder Than You Party because I was being super lazy, and you know, sometimes we just need those super relaxing days, but honestly it's so much better than leaving the house and going out. So this is definitely speaks to me, and so I would always encourage you to, you know, find stuff like this, that things that you're pinning, there's a way to download it, so, or you just screenshot it and use it in your books, because you know there's a reason why you pinned it. It was funny, and I like being able to look back at some memes and stuff that were trending, and I think it's fun to see what kinds of things were popular. You know, just because we're not kids doesn't mean that we can't follow trends and fads and stuff and still find that funny. So anything else I want to tell you about this page? I don't think so, but it was fun. I really loved being able to just have the few colors. It's some of my favorite layouts are the ones where I have like 2 colors to choose from, and I just try to find different shades and hues of those 2 colors. It ends up being super challenging and super fun. So this is actually where we're going to end. So week 36, and we are finished with another look inside my family album, and I'll be doing another one here really soon. So just make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss all the action. I'll also be continuing on in 2017, so we're obviously still not finished with the album, so many more videos to come. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.